Hello everybody, Geraldine Rose here. This is my Altenew Cozy Comfort Retreat box. That's the first time I've ever done a retreat. I couldn't pass it up because it's got Jennifer McGuire, Christina Warner, Kathy Zilski, JC Gasper, Krista Wiley, and Amy Rasavi. And it's because of Amy Rasavi from Prairie Paper and Ink that I signed up for this. So let's take a look and see what we've got. And mini blending brushes, yay, for stencils. They're inks, which I don't have any of. Sage Stone, Green Onyx, Lemon Ice. It's pretty light to see that one. Mandarin Burst, Red Jasper, and Raw Amber. Cozy Comfort Socks. Yay. I guess I got something to wear for that day. And that is the Cozy Comfort Retreat. Look at that lineup. Come on, those guys are just fabulous. And that's our schedule. Some enamel dots in Citrus Punch. Oh, they've got some on the side that are hearts and stars as well too. Nice. That's cardstock. Okay, see what weight that is when we open it up. These are the dies, the Stylish Greetings die set. Thankful, take care, love you, appreciate you, hugs. And so sweet. Just general good all around for being able to use them. This is the Rolling Hills stencil. I like this one because it actually has so many different lines, angles coming in for the hills. Okay, a couple of their layering dies, the Pistachios and Hazelnut Branch. And I believe that these ones have that key method that they've got. What do they call that? I will need to go look and find out. Keyhole system. Another layering one, Mixed Foliage. Good for fall, summer. This one is the set. So there's the stamp, which will be available for release, I am told, soon. And the name on this, the One Go Sweet Pumpkins. So there's the stamp set. There's the stencils for it. These are the dies for it. And that's the embossing folder for it. So you can put it all through in one go, or you can die cut them out and set them on your card in different spots. And these are their cardstocks. Again, these will be released. So there's 10 shades in here. And I'm curious to see what weight those are too. But the really nice fall colors that they've got in through there with some greens, some of the yellows, and some of the rust and red tones. I have got to get to die cutting for the retreat. We've been given the instruction list for what we need for supplies for each class. So that's what I'll be doing today. All right, everybody, have fun, and I'll show you what we end up making with this. Thanks, and bye-bye. Starting out with some Lisa Horton Cloud 9 Interference ink, Pumpkin Spice. Stamped it down with my original stamp wheel. I set it with some iridescent sparkle embossing powder, and once it was done, I ran it through with the embossing folder. We're going to set it back down on the stamp wheel sticky grid, grab out the stencils, and get to trying out these inks that Altenew has sent me. You can see I'm doing a gradient with the oranges and the yellows and the pinks, which are the color throwdown challenges this week. After checking it between each layer to see how our progress on the coloring grade was coming along, I pushed some white cardstock through my die cutting machine, my Big Shot with the embossing folder, and then pulled the die set out and ran it through again with that. I also ran through a piece of acetate through that embossing folder to get it to actually take the pumpkin impression. And on the paper one, I went and taped them all on the back so that they would set in place, other than the few that were in the middle that I wanted to actually show through for the shaker portion. And here I'm pulling out a selection of sequins in the pink and the orange, the yellow, and just some iridescent white sparkle ones through there to have a mix that'll rattle around on the inside portion. That Big Mama foam tape was doubled up to give those little shaker bits a little room to shake around on the inside there. I've pulled this strips, the backing off, and the glue's just going to help me have some wiggle time while I get that panel exactly the right place. So I'm grabbing the inks out again, and I wanted it to look like the leaves were blowing in the wind. So I brought in the yellow and the orange, and later on I bring in the interference ink again, just to make it look like there's wind kind of blowing along there. In the splat box, I've just put the pieces back in over top of the acetate to protect it up, because I'm going to grab out my Ranger Black Soot Oxide spray, and I'm going to splatter just in the portion where it kind of has the wind with the leaves going through the middle. I'm moving aside the paper towels here just to spread that back, although of course the main concentration is through that middle band. Here's the interference ink again. The reason why I came back in later with this is I wanted everyone to see the difference between it going over the black and it going over the white, because that's what the interference does. Similar to a dual chrome, that it'll show one color over dark and one color over a light background. So it's a neat effect as you flip it back and forth. Because this is Halloween, I'm bringing in black soot around the outside. It's the same way that it's the rule that you have to have black splatter for Halloween as well. And because we're working with distress inks, I am dropping some water droplets, and I'm going to mop them up just so we have a little bit of distressing on the oxide inks in the background. Here, fossilized amber, distress spritz, and I'm trying to shoot it only up that middle portion. Right, time for the Halloween stuff on their front. The Sizzix Tim Holtz Vault Gothic Portraits. The Raven, the Bats, and the Wicked sentiment in gloss and the glitter cardstock. Decided to go with the bats on the front. Hubby's choice on that matter too. So they're flying along up at the top. And hey, it works because we've got wind there as well too, right? They're lifting the leaves up. Well, actually, now that I think of it, the pumpkin's just kind of floating there in the air. Maybe it's like a Hogwarts thing. Anyway, I am doing the whole wiggle thing on the Wicked down at the bottom because you know that's me. And I wanted to have a little banner above and below the Wicked because you just can't have the word Wicked, right? So I pulled out the Avery Elf, the Halloween S'mores stamp, and a couple of the little sentiment strips, and brought in the yellow to have that tie in with the Color Throwdown challenge. The stamp wheel is out again. We are stamping those down with some Honeybee Intense black ink. It looks like I'm pushing really hard. Not actually. Those are the little delicate line stamps. One of those banner sentiment die strips is going to come in real handy. We're doing each one of them in turn. We're going to have one coming from one direction and one coming from the other direction, above and below the Wicked. So time to start working on the inside of the card. Carrying over that Avery L sentiment, grabbed one of the lines out that would go with this, did it first in one of the orange colors, brought the yellow back in while the ink was still wet. It gives it this really neat effect, like a highlight on the one side. Sometimes that'll do it from the middle if you've got a stamp set that's got the thicker lettering on it. All those die cuts were just floating around on the inside while I was getting the stamp placed properly, just for a visual. So it's time to glue them down because, you know, we don't want to die cut bomb everybody with those things flying out of there when they open this card up out of the envelope. And, of course, trying to choose, okay, where am I putting it? Oh, I think we've got her. Custom stamp on the back. I did notice that this Altenew ink is much juicier than the other ones I've been using. It just spread a little bit more than the inks I'm used to. Because we've got all those dots from the black soot, I wanted my embellishments to kind of match that. And I've got those black ones that have the gasoline effect across the top, the half pearls. So I actually grabbed out a few of them. I just threw them down first, and then I was like, oh no, just move them around to get that change in depth perception. I put the bigger ones on the one side and the smaller ones on the other so that it angles and it makes it look like they're coming from farther away. I had the oopsie on the inside, so I had to cover the oopsie up, and I had to put more oopsies all around. It's because somebody was touching it before it was dry, the Nuvo drops that I used along the edge. All right, well, I'm working on the envelope. I've got out the This Is Not a Bill stamp from Close to My Heart, putting that on the back flap. On the front of the envelope, I used a really pale peach ink. I'm putting the sweet pumpkins in there again, and they're just going to be really faint in the background. And I do move the envelope over so that I get the other side too. Bringing it into the splat box again, had some Ranger Weathered Wood Distress Spritz that I'm putting down. You can see I've got the middle masked off where, of course, I'm going to write this person's name. Bring that out. I'm just going to give it another little light spritz just to bring some more of that shimmery goodness in there on that. Of course, wipe your nozzle off so it doesn't clog. Here is the Close to My Heart, the Amy Ferrer. That's one of the Halloween stamps because I was like, okay, I need a pumpkin to stand out a little bit more on the front. And I used some tape to cover up the leaf. Did it again in reversed so that I can do the leaf in green. Restamping that again with the stamp wheel. Time to bring in the leaves for the autumn portion of this card. And that was the Sunny Studio, the Beautiful Autumn stamp set on those ones. And those guys, I'm touching on different parts of the stamp with different colors of the ink and the oranges and the rust and the green. So that's the finished card. Yeah, the fall and Halloween and World Card Making Day and Color Throwdown Challenge card all in one. Look at that. I'm playing with my Altenew and Stamptember new goodies so I can send this out to someone. That's the whole point, right? Let's all go be that change we want to see in the world. You guys do it too. Oh, that's the first shaker card, by the way, that I've done in a really long time. Until I see you next time. Bye-bye.